What's up, guys? It's your boy DamnboiTV, back with another video. Today we are gonna have a brief look at warrior PvP talent specs for TBC. We are gonna talk about which talents are really good to have, and I'm gonna show you 3 different specs that you can use in arena. As always, a like, a sub, and a comment down below would be greatly appreciated. I do also stream on Twitch. I am starting to get into this arena thing, trying to get into the practice and all, getting a little bit more knowledge into it before TBC arrives. So hopefully I'll become a great arena warrior at one point. Anyways, let's dig into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the crucial talents that I think you should have at least in your spec. Of course, Mortal Strike. Main one, it's our main damage. It will reduces the effectiveness of any healing by 50% for 10 seconds on the target. The next one is Improved Intercept. This reduces the cooldown of your intercept ability by 10 seconds. This gives you more mobility, gives you a extra interrupt / stun. Then we have Piercing Howl. This causes all enemies within 10 yards to be dazed, reducing movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. This is if you can't catch them with Hamstring, you can use Piercing Howl and catch them that way. Plus it is an AoE slow. Tactical Mastery works the same as in Classic. Having 3 points in this gives you the ability to retain up to an additional 15 of your rage points when you change stances. This is super important to do your spell reflects, since it requires you to be in battle or defensive stance, plus having 25 rage to use it. Then we have Weapon Mastery. This is not as crucial, but it's a very nice talent. It reduces the chance for attacks to be dodged by 2% and reduces the duration of all disarm effects used against you by 50%. Also, having to eat a 10-second disarm instead of a 5-second disarm when you are almost killing the opposing player is kind of tiring, right? So it is a very nice talent to have. Also, when you're disarming people, remember to do it from behind. That way they can't parry at least. Then we have Enraged. This is a nice talent, at least if the DPS is on you. This gives you 25% melee damage bonus for 12 seconds, up to a maximum of 12 swings after being the victim of a critical strike. Then we have Booming Voice, which increases the area of effect and duration of your battle shout, demoralizing shout, and commanding shout by 50%. This is super great to getting rogues and druids out of stealth, using your demon shout this way. Then we have Second Wind. This is a self heal you finally get in TBC. Whenever you're struck by a stun or immobilize effect, you will generate 20 rage and 10% of your total health over 10 seconds. This is a decent little self heal that will help you especially against 2 DPS teams, etc. Last but not least, we have Improved Hamstring. This gives your hamstring ability a 15% chance to immobilize the target for 5 seconds. This is great to prevent your teammate from dying if you get a proc of this when your teammate is almost dying, for instance, or when you are getting kited by a druid or the like. Next up, we have the talent specs. So the first one I'm going to show you here has all the aforementioned talents that we just talked about. So we have, of course, we have Mortal Strike, we have 2 out of 2 in Second Wind, we have Improved Hamstring, we have Improved Intercept, but we only have 1 out of 2 in Blood Frenzy. Blood Frenzy is a talent that when your rend and demon wounds are applied to a target, it will increase the damage done to the target by 2% if you only have 1 in it, or 4% when you have 2 out of 2 in it. On top of that, we have Weapon Mastery, which is awesome, and we have Sweeping Strikes. Last but not least, we of course have our Tactical Mastery, so we can easily do those spell reflects. Overall, this spec is great because it has everything. There's some points you can change here and there. For instance, you can change your Commanding Presence 1 out of 5 into 1 out of 5 in Unbridled Wrath. This is kind of what you prefer. You can do whatever you want there. I prefer to get the extra damage for my battle shout. In the next spec, which is called 33-28-0, we lose 1 in Improved Hamstring, we lose Blood Frenzy, and we lose Tactical Mastery, but we gain 3 out of 5 in Flurry, which gives us more damage, more DPS overall. This can be especially really nice with a shaman when you have Wind Fury, or in 3s, or 5s for that matter, where you need the extra burst. But do remember you lose your Tactical Mastery, so you can't be in Berserker stance and swap to battle or defensive stance and do your spell reflect. Because you're going to be lagging the rage. Unless the opposing team is going on you, right? This last spec is when you get to the higher brackets in 2s and you find yourself rage starved versus high armor and high resilience targets. This spec is made to counter that. If we compare it to the first standard spec for arenas, we lose weapon mastery and tactical mastery in the spec. But we gain improved Mortal Strike 4 out of 5 and we gain Endless Rage as well. Mortal Strike reduces your cooldown on Mortal Strike, plus it increases its damage done. And Endless Rage gives you 25% more rage when you deal damage. You can change this spec a little bit, so you can get Tactical Mastery still, by removing 3 points in rage and moving them over to Tactical Mastery. Tactical Mastery is super crucial for spell reflecting, entangles, cyclones, sheeps, etc. The last thing we're going to talk about is, of course, macros. I advise you to add start attack to all your macros. That way you will always be hitting your target. Never lose any rage. The first macro we're going to talk about is, of course, focus macro. Basically, you bind it to a keybind and it's just slash focus. And what it does is it gives you a focus frame here. Right now on Endless you need a add-on. I will list it all down below. Moving on. The intervene macro looks like this. It's for 2s. Basically what it does, it casts defensive stance and then it intervenes number 1 party member in your group. So as you can see here, I'm not targeting the warlock right now and it intervenes. It's a very good and smooth macro, but of course it only works for 2s, right? Spell reflect is one of the most important macros here. You will have one that is called stop attack, equip one hand and shield, cast blood rage, plus cast spell reflection. This is going to be used in battle stance and defensive stance, because that is where you can cast your spell reflect. For Berserker stance, you are going to add cast battle stance and cast blood rage, because as you know from our talent, Tactical Master, you will retain up to an additional 15 of your rage points when you change stances. So casting blood rage will make sure you cast that spell reflect when you need it. Next we have some simple macros here. Whirlwind, start attack, cast Berserker stance, cast Whirlwind. Berserker Rage, cast Berserker stance, cast Berserker Rage. Then we have some intercept focus target macros. We have the normal intercept, as you all know. Pretty straightforward. You need some rage for that. Boom. And then you have one as well for focus target. So as you can, this is my focus one right here. So as long as you have somebody in focus, when you press this macro, it's gonna intercept the focus target instead of your real target. Next up, we have a pummel focus target macro. The normal interrupt macro is working, of course, both for it does a pummel when you're in circus stance, and when you go to defensive stance, it's gonna shield bash instead. Next, we have, of course, our simple disarm macro. This cast defensive stance, cast disarm. And of course you can't disarm a target dummy, but it would work if it wasn't a target dummy. Another nice feature you can do is that you can bind your stances to equipping a specific weapon. So in this case, battle stance and berserker stance is going to equip your 2-hand, as you can see, and defensive stance is going to be equipping your 1-hand and shield. Besides that, like I said, remember to add start attack to all your macros and you are more or less good to go. As for trinkets, it's use 13 for your first trinket slot and use 14 for your second trinket slot. Overpower is, of course, the same as always. Cast battle stance, cast overpower, pretty simple. Nothing has really changed there. Anyway, guys, that concludes this guide. I hope you enjoyed. As always, a like, a sub, and a comment down below would be greatly appreciated. Let me know if you have any additions to this video. It would be greatly appreciated. I do also stream on Twitch. If you're interested in that, you can check me out there. I stream 3 to 4 days a week. DamnboiTV with an I. As always, have a damn great day.